Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. It is Saturday, the 16th of November. 1 week, people, left of international football. Just one final week to go before the Reds resume action against Southampton away, isn't it, at St Mary's? So just holding on. And it's kind of with a fingers crossed element, because let's be honest, touch wood, cross everything, etc. We don't want anything to happen on international duty. But that's what we're going to run through. A little bit of international duty, a little bit of what certain Reds are up to, the stories. There's even a transfer. Well, actually, a couple of transfer rumours. I'm lying to you, saying just one there. We'll talk through the latest pods. Basically, long story short, we will talk through everything Liverpool. And I'm Dave Davies, coming to you from a pretty sunny Edinburgh. It's freezing ass cold outside, but it's quite sunny at the moment, so we'll try and keep that shine. Speaking of shining, especially up here, Ben Doak. Did anyone see that performance last night? Now, I saw quite a few of the reviews, they're giving him the assist. I think that might be a little bit generous, because obviously it palms out from the keeper, but it's him doing Guardiola again, isn't it? And I'm sure you've seen this clip. Curtis does a brilliant flick for his goal for England. Ben Doak is not to be bettered at all, is he? That little flick round the corner and away he goes he squares it inside for the chance. So brilliant performance. Man of the match, Ben Doak was given last night as well. Important to say at the same time, it isn't just a one-off. Now, it's only early doors in the season, and at Middlesbrough, he's been used a bit sparingly so far. So Michael Carrick's only used him sort of in a few games off the bench to start with, but it's still been doing okay. But recently, especially in the recent few games for Middlesbrough, starting 90 minutes or so, getting goals and assists. So there's a lot going well with Ben Doak at the moment. And probably a bit, if I just show you here, from this article that I'm looking at here, this is amazing. Talks a little bit about his mentality. So there's various places. You may have seen these comments. I don't know at all, but this is the one I love. So Gvardiol's one of the best in the world, isn't he? So it's good to test yourself against players of that caliber. We both had our moments when we got the better of each other, but I've loved both games about him. When I went past him early in the first half, I didn't realise it had gone through his legs. I think you did, Ben. I just flicked it and hoped it would come out the other side, which it did. And there's just little bits that is worth reading if you get the chance. I don't see faces on the park. I just see a kit and a blank face. I don't take notice of reputations. I just believe that if I'm good enough to be on the pitch, then I should be up to whoever I'm against. And listen, I think Gvardiol, and someone might correct me if I'm wrong on this, might even be the world's most expensive defender, I think. Someone might change my mind or that or correct me in the comments, but I do believe that to be the case. And 19-year-old Ben Doak gave him an absolutely torrid time last night. Make no more mistakes about it. And internationals as well. There was quite a few on international duty. So if you look at the Reds website, Ben Doak, obviously, and they've got a lovely clip if you want to see it of the goal. There he is, the handsome bastard, little man of the match. Andy Robbo pretty much plays the full game, as you can see. Connor Bradley, Wataru Endo also played a full game, so that was good to see. Probably needs the matches, and I'll come to him in a little bit as well. Tyler Morton getting minutes for the England under-21s. He played 90. Stephan Bajcetic got some as well. And a couple of South American boys at the same time, Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz. So they both played 90 minutes in. It looked like a bit of a thriller, actually, as it says there. Uruguay, Colombia. Uruguay triumph 3-2. However, important to say, Colombia had a last-minute goal disallowed, the classic VAR at the same time. So, yeah, a lot going on for the Reds on international duties. And it's important to say this because, I mean, just picking a few games here that may coming up. Where are Reds in action today? So have a look at these games. Georgia, forget Marmadashvili, don't you? So he will be in action at 5 o'clock today. This one, this is almost 7:45 this evening. Please, Lord, dear God, no. Netherlands versus Hungary. I mean, I swear they play each other every 5 minutes in this Nations League. Absolute nonsense that goes on. But if you think there, Gakpo, VVD and Grav. So 3 stars there. So Bosley on the other side. So that's one you're hoping, yeah, if 4 players just get out the other side of that, all good. And it is their first one. That's their first international game for those guys. They didn't have one earlier. And also, just to almost finish the weekend, is worth mentioning England, Ireland. So you got Kelleher, Jones, maybe Jarell Quansah will get minutes. I don't know on that one at all. Finland, Greece, Tsimikas. And Tsimikas, in a good way, and I do mean this in a good way, only played 64 minutes for Greece in their previous game. So that'll be them done and dusted. And then Italy, France is the other one to shout out about as well, because Ibu, he's not the captain, isn't he? I think it's N'Golo Kante, but played 90 minutes again. So Sunday's quite an important day for us if you think about it, because we get Kelleher, or he'd finish, maybe not back straight away, I get that, but Kelleher finishes there. Jones, Quansah finished there. Tsimikas finishes there. Konate finishes there. So touch wood, fingers crossed and everything, we get a lot of the contingent back that way unscathed. So that is the big hope. Other things just to make you aware of as well. This one, there is an Alexis Mac Allister interview. It talks about evolution and working with Arne Slot. And some of the comments, you'll probably read it if you do want to take the chance. Nothing different in terms of how it's different, his role. One thing that as I'm moving down the article, I do find really, really interesting in this. Look at this bit, ladies and gents. I think we're in that transitional period. An interesting phrase to use. We were used to being very direct and perhaps more long balls. And nowadays with the new coach, the idea is completely different. And we are working on being more patient, to have longer periods in possession. So the games aren't as end to end, so we can dominate them. Interested to know what you think of that one. I mean, it is still transition. I think it's fair to say it's still early doors. There's still a long way in the season to go. Everything has just been going so well, to date. So maybe you can look at that and think, well, yeah, it is still a transition. It's good to almost just get that reminder on occasions. And even this bit I really like at the bottom. I feel there's a lot of positivity within the club, and we're working fantastically well with the new manager. We can really see that he's got great ideas, his mentality, and what he gets across to us is important. So we're happy. Yeah, transitional may be the word, but how well is that transition going so far? Absolutely brilliantly. So yeah, well read an interview there. So that's Alexis Mac Allister. As I said, you can find that on the official website. Moving on to things that we've got as well. So we're looking at AI. We've got quite a few pods out at the moment, so well worth a listen. You can find them in the normal place, YouTube as I've got here, but also at the same time, you can get them other places like the normal downloads on the site and all your major podcast publishers. Last night, me and Bart's did a quick one around, 45 minutes might not be everyone's definition of quick. And I'm actually lying even setting it up that way. We went really in depth on Tchouaméni, Zubimendi, and how they profile against Ryan Gravenberch and what Arne Slot might want from a number 6. The other thing we did, and it's probably someone I'm going to come to very shortly, we looked at left-back targets that we've been linked with. And we actually did this about 5 o'clock last night. So the names we sort of explored, Milos Kerkez and Rayan Cherki, which I'm going to come to Kerkez because that's been a sort of a breaking story from last night as well. But me and Bart's, and I'm saying Bart's really because he did the heavy lifting, the deep dive on that. So well worth a listen if you've not already. We've got normal things like Dave's daily podcast, Daily Red, it's an international one. An interesting one, which I've listened to, the Minefield boys, actually talking about the Liverpool start, but also David Coote got mentioned there as well. So that's well worth a listen. And other ones a couple of days old if you've not seen them. We did get Paul Joyce. So he very kindly gave up his time there to talk us through everything Reds, the latest things that are going on, and a few of his stories and behind the scenes stuff, which is really fascinating. So it's going to sound biased, I know, but well recommend a listen. And me and Trev did dust off the old mics to do a transfer show as well a couple of days on. So if you got the time, international break, and the missus or whoever's nagging you to do jobs, or you've just got things on the docket, something to fill the time, there is absolutely loads for you to go out there, ladies and gents. Absolutely loads. Now, a couple of articles that I just wanted to bring to you. So these are on the AI site, and there's a few different views across the AI community on Endo. I mean, Steve Smith's an article, which I kind of get is a longer term about selling Endo, and it wouldn't probably be a surprise if he does move on. So that's a take on it. Be honest, you can call it biased. This one's mine about Endo starting for Southampton. And hear me out on this. I don't believe for 1 second, as I'm saying this, Endo is going to be a regular starter by any means. I'm not saying that for 1 second. Here's what I am saying. Ryan Gravenberch has played every single minute of the Premier League and Champions League. He is going to need a rest at some point. Yes, he did have the Carabao Cup off completely, didn't he, in that regard? But he's going to smash his career high minutes. There's got to be games you maybe just pick and are just careful with him. Oh, and by the way, Southampton's the first game back. And if you haven't noticed, by the way, Real Madrid and Manchester City at Anfield afterwards. So just that's part of the thinking at the same time. Alexis Mac Allister is the other one I mentioned in the article. Now, love Mac. I actually still think he's our best midfielder, an absolutely world-class talent for me. I don't think he's been in great form the last few games. I think that's really important to say. And you do wonder, how much is he carrying that abductor injury? Is that muscle still bothering him, bugging him in some way at all? And even for Argentina, where he played the other night, they lost to Paraguay 2-1. He got absolutely battered in the Argentine media, by the way. Like 4 out of 10 said he's not the same. And he was taken off after 64 minutes at the same time. So there's 2 players. That's our double pivot. Make no mistake about it at all. Mac's going to be travelling tens of thousands of miles. Ryan Gravenberch is going to, like Mac, be probably playing every single game of this international break. Would it not be good just to give them a little bit of a break, or one of them a bit of a break in that regard? So that's what the article is steering towards, to be honest, people. All about Endo. And I actually think if you can't start Endo against Southampton, the greatest respect to Southampton, but they are right at the bottom of the table. Like, let's not mince our words on this. Surely this is the game where you think you could give Grav a bit of a rest. You could give Mac a bit of a rest. And I've seen a lot of fans saying Mac could benefit from a bit of a rest. So just in my humble personal opinion, it just makes all the sense in the world. So just one there. And then another one that's worth calling out. And this is a great interview that Cody Gakpo's done. You'll probably recognise Men in Blazers as we scroll down. So one just definitely worth having a sort of, I suppose, a listen and a read of, because it actually talks about him and his conversations with Arne Slot. And it's interesting that he talks about this in PSV terms. What Arne Slot said to him straight away, as in, you are a left winger. That is how I see you, in competition with Luis Diaz, that frankness as well. And that heading, the competition is breeding excellence. Just think at the moment how well those 2 are playing. Yeah, Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz have been absolutely sensational in recent weeks. And it is a good interview. It's only about, I think, 7-8 minutes long or so, but it gives you a massive, massive insight, I think, just in a short space of time into, there's almost a relaxed determination about Cody Gakpo. And I know that's a contrast, but look at how he's going, almost like a silent assassin type character, but he is absolutely flying at the moment. So all those pods, all those articles, all on the AI website at the same time. Now, we love a bit of transfer rumours, don't we? And to be honest, it's getting towards that time, isn't it? And Milos Kerkez, fair play to Anfield Watch. They've had this exclusive. It is theirs. So came up late last night, as you can see, sort of about 9:30. Now, it's interesting to say, because we did the transfer show also transfer market metrics, me and Bart, last night, and Kerkez and Aïnouri were looked at. Now, let me explain this fully from what we've seen before we go into the story. I think everyone feels that eventually we're going to need a replacement for Robertson, an upgrade on Tsimikas, however you want to put it. Everyone wanted a left-sided defender in the summer, and they still want one. Probably now, probably in the summer. And I understand that completely. I can make the case for that completely. Here's what actually came out of transfer market metrics. And it's important to be factual and do this, because I'm not going to pretend I'm an avid Bournemouth watcher. I know them inside out. But actually, when you look at Kerkez and Aïnouri, there were a few question marks, especially around their defensive stats. I mean, I have to be honest, Aïnouri's weren't there at all. And even Kerkez's weren't that great particularly. And it's not just all one thing, but you looked at him for aerial duels. And as Bart's called out, about 27th percentile, I think it was, that the defensive stats are not really there. And we said this on the transfer show a couple of days ago. When we'd asked round about Kerkez, and obviously there was the interest, the concern last summer was about, is he going to develop? Would he get the game time? But also, is he a bit rash in the way he just sort of bombs on, goes forward, all those types of things as well. So it was really, really interesting, that information we were getting. So, yeah, the reason I bring that up is because obviously this story, I mean, you look at this saying that they've made him the top target. So Anfield Watch go in about, and it even mentions, a bit like we got the 2023 and last summer it was looked at, but it didn't happen. This is probably the headline grabbing bit of it. In the year and a half since, Kerkez has established himself as one of the best up-and-coming fullbacks in the league and has continued to attract Liverpool's attention. So much so, Anfield Watch understands the club have now asked for permission from Bournemouth to enter preliminary talks with the Hungarian fullback. It's understood Kerkez is content at Bournemouth, but he's very open to a move away to a top club should it arise. Now, this is interesting, and fair play to Anfield Watch because this is their exclusive. I've got to be honest, at AI, we had a little bit different. As we said before on that transfer show a few days ago, yes, Liverpool have got interest in Kerkez. Yes, watching. However, have to be honest, as we said on the transfer show a few days, did not have anything was imminent, did not have, especially that it was looking at, entering talks kind of immediately. All our info was that maybe in the summer, but nothing guaranteed. And that's why we did the deep dive on transfer market metrics that way. So there's that consideration. And the other consideration for me, people, is if Kerkez, and I'm not doubting Anfield Watch, please, as I say this, but if Kerkez is coming in, and because they're trying to do that, and those preliminary talks to be successful, who's going out? Because you can't have three left backs. You can't spend that big money on Kerkez and then not have him in there and have Robbo and Tsimikas at the same time. So Liverpool would essentially have to bomb out one of the left backs, really, wouldn't they? If they're bringing in Kerkez, you'd have to think, well, it's probably not going to be Robbo because he's part of the leadership team. So they probably have to bomb out Tsimikas. Can you see that going well with the squad? I really can't. I really can't at all. I can't see that. We know how Mo Salah's good mates with Costas as well. So I'm struggling to see it being imminent. However, we'll have to see on this. January is just round the corner, literally, isn't it? But who knows? But yeah, similar to our info that they are interested, but fair play to Anfield Watch on that scoop. We'll see how that bears out. And then the other one we got up there, you may have seen this one. Liverpool make a fresh inquiry through its L'Équipe, raised this, didn't they? For €25 million rated Rayan Cherki. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but so be it. So the Leon can play attacking midfield. He can almost play across the front line, can't he? Now, this is an interesting story, and Liverpool have had an interest last summer, and you think of that word, opportunistic. This would be an opportunistic signing if there's anything in it, for a few reasons, people. I don't know if anyone saw sort of Fabrizio Romano's and other stories yesterday, Lyon are in big financial trouble, major debt under that American owner, aren't they? And there's a preliminary decision to relegate them to the second division, isn't there, in France? And because of that and the debts, they're trying to raise money, trying to sort things. There were suggestions that pretty much anyone's up for sale, which is understandable in Lyon. Hence, people started to think, hold on, could this be another one of those opportunistic ones where Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, whoever, etc., is looking and thinking, we can get a player worth X amount for half or anything like that. And I get that. There's an element of that and understanding. Here's where I'm struggling with it big time in this regard. He can play in the attacking positions. Well, we've got 6 attackers at the moment. Let's be honest. We're not going to get a 7th if you consider him that way. Others will say, and please, I am not an avid Lyon watcher, so I can't tell you everything Lyon do. It seems he's played attacking midfielder in a few games, but then you're also thinking, yes, Liverpool would probably like another midfielder. An attacking one? Well, we've got some Bosley that plays there, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott to come back. It's not probably the profile or the mix of anyone we're looking for. I could be wrong, but I don't really put any stock in this at all. To me, I mean, he's always been that sort of youthful, mercurial talent, Cherki, when I've seen him on occasions, and always been the hype around him. And he's talented, no doubts about it. But is it almost a version of a French Harvey Elliott a little bit as well? Now, maybe doing him down here, but plays on the right, left foot, and also he can play attacking midfielder. Have we not got Harvey Elliott that can do that? Yeah, that's why for this one, I am just really, really struggling to see anything in it. Could be wrong on that, people. We will have to see. And the final thing or big news that I wanted to sort of bring, I mean, you must forget he's still our player, isn't it? Stephan Bajcetic. He is on loan under Pep Linder's tutelage, I suppose you call it, at Red Bull Salzburg. That'll probably annoy a few of me saying that, but there you go. Now, the assumption's been for a lot of people, he's going to do his loan, he's going to shine and come back. Nothing's definite, actually, when you read this article. So it's actually quotes. There's quite a few different variations of this, but if you want to find it, Bajcetic's quotes. So he was asked about, you know, it's good for finding the minutes I was missing, but this is the bits we want to get to. I made the decision to go to Salzburg because I thought I would get minutes, and I am getting them. Liverpool are in contact with me practically every week, asking me how I am physically and giving me gym guidelines so I don't relapse. So that's good to hear, isn't it? Like, so Ruben Peters, the relevant staff are doing the bits as well. This bit as well. Being on loan in Salzburg, so Liverpool are not going to the Club World Cup. I have the option of choosing whether return to Liverpool or do the World Club Cup with Salzburg. If I return to Liverpool, I have an option to come to the Under-21 Championships, and it is something that would make me very excited. An interesting one, this, isn't it? Because, I mean, you've got 2 opportunities there. You just can't see Stephan Bajcetic being needed by Liverpool particularly. That's just honest at the moment. And it's an interesting one, a bit aside from this piece, because I'm hearing so many people saying this kid's going to be a superstar when he comes back and all this. Just being honest, he doesn't look like he's tearing up any particular trees. I was going to scroll that man off because he's distracting me there. But it doesn't look like he's sort of tearing up any trees at all in Austria, which is, it's not the best league, let me put it that way at the same time. Also, if Liverpool want him back, we'll have to see. But for me personally, the Club World Cup or the Euro Championships is great experience either way. And at worst case, maybe a shop window, shall we say, for Stephan Bajcetic. But it is interesting. Be interesting to know. Feel free to comment what you think. Does Stephan Bajcetic definitely have a long-term future at Liverpool? There are mixed feelings, I think it's fair to say, on that. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gents. Those are your big headlines. And the only thing I wanted to finish off is you will have probably seen this on your social media, be it your X, your Blue Sky, whatever you're on, etc. the contract talks, isn't there? Again, it's a lot of rumours, and we're desperate for something to happen. Most of us are, and I get it. People say don't be too nervous. Some people will be nervous. Everyone's got a right to feel how they feel. It's the 16th of November today. On the 1st of January, Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold can sign a pre-contract agreement with an overseas club, can't they? Which is not a nice statement when you make it like that. Now, the other thing that seems to be coming out, and again, this is all rumours, there's a lot of suggestions that, implications you would call it, that Trent may be turning down offers. You know, a lot of people must expect him to go to Real Madrid. You will have your thoughts on that, but it's all thoughts. It's all opinions. We will have to see what breaks. I mean, we would absolutely love something to break during the international break for at least one of them, wouldn't we? That would be a proper boost across the board. But, and I say nothing seems imminent. There's a few journalists we've had on recently, and David Lynch, Paul Joyce, they have all made this point. When it breaks, it will just break from nowhere. It will just be like bang, happen in a day type of thing. So I'm saying nothing's imminent. We don't really know. As Paul Joyce intimated on when I asked him about trying to find an agreement with Mo Salah, no one really knows what Mo's asking for. No one really knows exactly what offers could have been made, could have been rejected by Trent Alexander-Arnold. So what's the moral of the story, I suppose, for the contracts? No one knows really, do they? In all honesty, all we can do is hope. And whilst we almost wait, and we probably won't have to wait too long, because January is just around the corner. Hey, there's about 8 million fixtures before then, because next Sunday, the Reds are back, aren't they, Southampton? And then starts that week, Real Madrid and Manchester City come into Anfield. I will be at both. I can't wait. But before then, ladies and gents, we'll have a Daily Red in this format for you tomorrow to run through everything that's happened internationals. Fingers crossed, it's all good on there. Any latest Liverpool stories, and everything else in regards to the Reds. So there we go. On Saturday, the 16th of November, whatever you've got planned for this international break, enjoy your day. And that was another Daily Red for Anfield Index.